we got Morgan taking on Jocelyn, making her debut in the round robin challenge. And you can see Jocelyn is starting off pretty aggressively, really looking to push Morgan around. Taking some shots at the legs. Shoots again. Morgan maybe tried to snatch up her head there. And then Jocelyn pulled guard. She's looking to attempt a guillotine right off the jump. And that was a nice strategy by Jocelyn. Even though her intention was to pull guard, she gave Morgan enough to think about that she was able to pull close guard. It's tough to pull close guard, especially in no gi. You don't have the same options to grip. But she shot, and then pulled, and that was nicely timed. So from here, the entire battle from close guard, from Morgan's position, is to try to unlock close guard. How is she going to do that? She has to look to use her hands to create frames, either on Jocelyn's biceps, shoulders, somewhere against her body that she's going to be able to sit back and bring her head far away from Jocelyn's head. In this situation, like it's happening right now, Jocelyn's doing a good job of breaking Morgan's posture and keeping her bent over. Now, when you're bent over, it's going to be really difficult to break someone's guard, and you're going to leave yourself much more open and vulnerable to their sweeps and submission attacks. And it can be quite a tricky position that Morgan's stuck in right now, because it doesn't really matter how bad you want to break the close guard unless you use the proper technique and frame properly and put enough pressure on your partner. You may not get at a close guard, and especially when Jocelyn just locked a body triangle there. Now that's really going to limit her options offensively as well. It's not much you can do to attack when you have the body triangle on from close guard, unless you're trying to submit someone with it. And you're probably just kind of a jerk if you're doing that when someone's in your close guard, trying to submit them just by using the strength of your legs. But I don't think that's what Jocelyn's trying to do. She's just trying to stay busy and kind of stay on the attack, and she let that body triangle go. And see how much movement is happening right now? Jocelyn's snapping the head down, kind of pushing Morgan around. Morgan wants there to be less movement happening and more just kind of static. And she would be able to do that by keeping the frame and sitting back onto her heels. Jocelyn's thrown enough attacks at Morgan to keep her busy. Morgan really hasn't had any time to think about how she's going to open this guard because she's constantly having to defend. And close guard, especially no gi, can be tricky because, like I already said, your options for grips are a lot more limited. So when I think about what attacks work successfully from close guard, it's like hip bumps, arm drags, arm locks, pendulum sweeps, things like that. Most of which require you to break your partner's posture, at least to some degree. And Morgan just really has to correct her head position. She's just leaning too far forward, giving Jocelyn free shots to go for these guillotines, which, even though they may not be close, it's still Jocelyn on offense and Morgan on defense. Ideally, in a jiu-jitsu match, you want to be on offense the majority of the time. Morgan looks to stand there. You got to be careful with standing passes because even though they are usually a bit more effective than passes that start on the knees, they definitely open you up to more, especially sweeps if you stand up, because your partner can look to get underneath your legs. And personally, I notice a lot of hesitation with people going for standing passes, especially people that have bad knees, or maybe they're not super confident in their balance. They don't want to stand up. And in my opinion, it takes a lot of practice. That's something you'd want to practice almost every day for like a week or two, standing up and breaking the guard before you're really confident in it. So then the other option is if you're not confident to pass standing, you have to try to pass on your knees. And that's where posture just becomes so important. And Jocelyn is setting up a nice angle here where she could maybe come out for Morgan's back. If she posted her right hand to the floor and tried to get height and get her chest over Morgan's back, she could potentially go for the back control. She could also maybe look to set up an arm lock, but she's kind of lost the angle at this point. Notice too how Jocelyn she's really busy with her arms. Like anytime Morgan is trying to frame on her, Jocelyn's constantly looking to break the grip or strip the grip off. And that's what a good close guard player does. They're not going to let someone get grips that they want on you for a long period of time. That's never good. And now she's got the high guard, transitions to a triangle. Now this is danger. That triangle looks tight immediately, and you can tell Jocelyn has given it all that she has to try to finish it. But Morgan is a pretty tough customer, so let's see if she can withstand this pressure. Jocelyn's able to reverse her over to mount And remember, even though she has the triangle on, she's still going to score points for the sweep, but not the mount, because she's not in full mount. She's in a triangle. When you're in full mount, you have a knee on either side of your partner's rib cage or hip. So Jocelyn did the smart thing. She forced the sweep to score 2 to ensure that she take the lead. And she should really be squeezing her knees together. I think that's the issue with this triangle. She's just putting too much pressure down, but she's got to squeeze those knees in together. That would probably make it a lot tighter. She goes back to the bottom. She should also look to point her toes up. I can see her left foot is kind of pointed down. If you point your toes up in a triangle, it just flexes all the muscles in your legs. It makes it way tighter. Jocelyn could, look to underhook that leg. That's a good idea. And even though Morgan's in some real hot soup here, she should look to look up as best she can, sit to her butt, and cross the ankles over the body. Patrick did that against Rob. I just did that match. You guys should watch that one for a triangle escape. Now Jocelyn's looking to attack the arm lock. This match actually cuts off in a few seconds. We didn't catch the very end. But Jocelyn won this one via points. Morgan did survive.